Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. I am in my hometown of Danvers, Massachusetts at the awesome Nick's Comic Strip, one of my favorite comic book stores in all of Massachusetts. Let's go inside and see what we can find. All right, guys, quick stop. I have another comic book store to go to as well as a Christmas party. So in my short amount of time, I got a pretty good stack of comic books at a fantastic price. Can't wait to go home and show you guys what I got. So there you go. That was Nick's Comic Strip in Danvers, Massachusetts, an awesome comic book and especially vintage toy store. Now this store has a very special place in my heart, and it's not just because it's in my hometown, it's because of the way they run their business. Their entire business model is based around community building, reaching out to kids, and especially giving back to charity. Every year they pick a different charity of choice, and then throughout the year they have different sales and things to give a percentage of their proceeds to this great cause. So in 2023, it was the Lustgarten Foundation for Pancreatic Cancer Research, and in 2024, it will be a new charity they have yet to pick. Now, when I visited them this past year, I did a whole video on them where I interviewed the owner, Nick. I will link to that video right here if you haven't checked it out in the past. And I was blown away that they did this, guys. I've never heard of a comic book store doing this. I thought it was a fantastic cause, and I was very happy to mention it on my channel. And because I mentioned it on my channel, I was very humbled and surprised when some of my actual viewers donated to this great cause. And I know Nick's Comic Strip was really happy about it. They were able to raise quite a bit of money for pancreatic cancer research. So if you are one of those people that donated, once again, I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. So because I love this store so much and I love their message, I always try to stop in when I'm in the area. But as you heard me mention, I was short on time. And because of that, I only had time to go through the back issues and I only ended up with 6 comic books. However, come to find out, I had just missed a big sale they had where it was half off all of their back issues. But when I was checking out the employee there, Chris, really great guy, by the way, was gracious enough to extend the sale to me, and I got all these for half off. Such a great guy. So before I show you what I got, guys, if you like this sort of stuff and you want to support the channel, head on down, like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help, and I love reading your comments. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. And as usual, I will link to all of the socials of Nick's Comic Strip down in my description. I would love it if you checked them out and saw what they were all about. So these first 2 comic books are actually not for me. I was taking advantage of being there to do a little bit of Christmas shopping. The awkward thing is these books are actually for a friend of mine who is also a comic book YouTuber. And I'm going to show this right now on my channel, and I'm sure he's going to see this. So hopefully I can mail these out right after I film this video. So he'll have them in hand before this video actually comes out. But when I show you the character, it'll be no surprise who it is. These are from my good friend Brandon at Mon Comics. Brandon is one of those people that's become a real life friend to me. We talk on the phone all the time. He's a fantastic human being. If you haven't checked out his channel, what are you doing here? Head on over to his channel and sub him up. But his favorite character is Man-Thing. He talks about him all the time. The problem with getting comic books for someone based on their favorite character is they're very likely to already have those books. And he's a very hard person to shop for because he has everything. So I got a couple of Man-Thing books that I hope he doesn't have, and they're a little bit strange for that. So first up, we have this. So this is Micronauts number 7. It's from 1979. Now, the Micronauts were actually based off of a toy line, and then Marvel Comics ended up doing a series on them where they shrink down and they go to the Microverse. If you watch the MCU, it's kind of like the quantum realm. And one of the ways they did, they had to promote these comic books is to have them cross over with other Marvel characters. As a matter of fact, I have one someone recently gave me where the Micronauts are with Nightcrawler, my favorite character. So I found this one where they're crossing over with Man-Thing. I don't know if Brandon has this. He probably does. But again, it only cost me like $1.50. So I'm happy to pick this up for Brandon. The other one I found is really interesting. It's actually a modern comic book. And it's this. So this is Man-Thing number 2. This is from a 2017 series written by R.L. Stine. Yes, the same R.L. Stine who wrote Goosebumps. And I know nothing about this comic series. I didn't even know it existed, but I thought the art on the cover was awesome. It shows, I guess, Ted Sallis turning into the Man-Thing, or maybe vice versa. Maybe he's turning back into Ted Sallis. I don't know, but I thought it was a great cover, and because it's more modern, and Brandon doesn't have a lot of modern, maybe he might not have it. So Brandon, these are going to you. Hopefully you have them in hand before you actually see this video. Otherwise, you will not be surprised. So happy to pick up these guys. Next up, I really like the 2015 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars storyline. I have several copies of the entire run, but there's also lots of variants of all of those issues. And although I'm not a big variant collector, there's some pretty cool ones in that run. And here's a book I've actually owned in the past. So this is Secret Wars #1 from 2015, and this is the Alex Maleev Newbury Comics variant. And the reason why I like this one so much is because it shows two of the biggest characters in that run, the Miles Morales Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman. Two characters that not only crossed over to the main Marvel timeline, the 616 universe, because of Secret Wars, but two characters that have become immensely popular in no small part to the Into the Spider-Verse series. So fantastic looking book. I've actually owned this book in the past and sold it. So I was happy to pick this up for, I think, $2.50. Not bad at all. Next up, they had some awesome, amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man books. I love those older issues. I have a pretty big box of Spider-Man books I don't usually show off on my channel. After the X-Men, Spider-Man is my favorite character. So I had to pick up this one. So this is the Amazing Spider-Man number 198. It's from 1979. And as far as I know, there's no key significance here. It just shows Spider-Man going up against my favorite Spider-Man villain by far, Mysterio. I love Mysterio. I love the fact that he's a normal guy that just uses technology and illusions to trick an immensely powerful superhero like Spider-Man. And nobody puts the screws to Spider-Man like Mysterio. He drives him crazy. And here we have a classic cover showing Spider-Man surrounded by all the illusions of Mysterio. I had to have it, guys. And when I got home, I read it. It's fantastic. You know, Mysterio's doing his normal stuff. He puts like a fake tiger and a fake snake to go against Spider-Man. Spider-Man tries being clever by blinding himself with his web so he won't be fooled. Of course, it doesn't really work. And Mysterio actually defeats Spider-Man at the end of this. It ends on a cliffhanger of Spider-Man being like chained to a pool as it fills with water. Mysterio seems to have won. I love Mysterio, guys. You don't have to collect books because they have any key value. Collect them because you love them. I love this cover. I love the character. Had to have it. I think it cost me $5. All right, next up, this is a very minor key, actually a double minor key. And it is this. This is The Mighty Thor, number 391 from 1988. And there are two first appearances in this book. The first one is this character right here, the villain Mongoose. Mongoose was actually a real mongoose that was turned into like a humanoid by the High Evolutionary. If you saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, similar to what he did to Rocket, except instead of being like a tiny, smart, clever raccoon, Mongoose is not only a pretty savage character with claws and agility and strength, he's also has some technological assets as well as some really good like espionage skills. And for a long time in the comic books, in the late 80s, he was a pretty good villain to Thor, and you see here he has Spider-Man's help in this issue. So Mongoose is a very minor character. He's a member of the Masters of Evil. He was also, I believe, a member of the Thunderbolts, so kind of a pseudo-good guy at one point, but very minor character. That's actually not the reason I got this book. I got it because it's also the first appearance of Eric Masterson. Eric Masterson's a normal guy who, because of the battle between Thor and Mongoose, actually ends up getting hurt really badly, and to save his life, ends up getting the powers of Thor. And it was complicated. For a while, he merged with Thor, so it was like two guys in the same body. Then he gets separated and given to the separate powers of Thor. For a while, in the late 80s and early 90s, he was actually the Thor, a member of the Avengers, and eventually became his own character called Thunderstrike. Now, the reason I know any of this is because Thunderstrike was pushed pretty hard in the early 90s. He had his own series, was a member of the Thor Corps, which was him, Thor, and Beta Ray Bill. And I definitely recognize him from my youth, and I read a lot of comics with Thunderstrike in it. I always wanted his first appearance. And, of course, there's the Marvel trading cards, and there are plenty of Thunderstrike cards in the early 90s. So, first appearance of Eric Masterson before he becomes Thunderstrike, first appearance of Mongoose, lesser. But still, guys, happy to pick this up. It cost me like $2.50. Pretty cool pickup. So last, we have an actual bona fide key. In fact, it was up on their wall, sort of one of their wall books, and it's this. This is the Defenders number 18 from 1974, cover by Gil Kane and Dave Cockrum, one of my personal favorites. Story by Len Wein, interior pencils by Sal Buscema. And I love the Defenders, guys. I have actually a pretty good run of the Defenders stories. Originally, they were a team made up of the Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Namor. And then soon thereafter, added characters like Silver Surfer, Valkyrie, Nighthawk, Luke Cage, and even some of the X-Men. And yes, I've always loved the Defenders, and I've wanted to kind of fill in that entire short run. But this one here is actually also a key, and that is the first full appearance of a minor supervillain team, the Wrecking Crew. 4 guys with sort of like construction-related names: the Wrecker, Thunderball, Pile Driver, and Bulldozer. Like I said, minor villains. They're a great foil to go up against any really superhero because they just bash things and destroy things. So yeah, their first cameo appearance is the issue before this. This is the first time they appear in full. And anyone who watched the She-Hulk Disney Plus show would have seen an iteration of this team. So yeah, I mostly got this because I want to fill in the run. But yeah, it's also cool that you have some Wrecking Crew key appearance here. This was originally $25, so I got it for half price. But as a matter of fact, you know, with that half price deal that Chris gave me, I got all of these for $25. So basically I paid for this and got all of these for free. Thank you so much, Chris. But head on down to the comments and let me know which of my pickups you like the best and if you think I paid a good price. And of course, let me know what you think of this store. You guys can be sure that I will go back when they have their new charity picked out and when they're doing one of their sales to donate it to it. I will absolutely mention it on my channel. And hopefully if you're in the Boston area, you can stop by as well and support this great cause. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places, especially your local comic book store, and especially when they're giving back to the community as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.